Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a watch that I've previously reviewed, but with the addition of a new deployant clasp, the watch gets a second review, as this is a distinct specification from the model originally covered. That said, the watch itself has not changed. Launched in 2010, this is the Breguet Grande Complication Tradition Fusee Tourbillon, a timepiece with a fusee, a tourbillon, a power reserve, and extraordinary construction, 41mm in platinum. The 2010 launch of this watch led me to exclaim, wow, a watch that truly lives up to the expectations that are engendered by the name Breguet. Not every Breguet watch seems like something the master himself might have created. This does. This is a grail watch by any standard, and in any era. So the watch is relatively thick. It's 16.3mm thick. The 41mm watch is not overpowering in its size because across the wrist, though it's thick, it's only 50.7mm lug-to-lug, and the lugs do turn downward rather sharply. So I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist between 14.5 and 15 centimeters. I think 15 centimeters, you would definitely find this watch would fit and appear perfectly at home on your wrist. The spacing between the lugs, contemporary. 22mm, so the watch has a nice broad stance, and all in platinum with a matching platinum clasp. There is a lot of watch to love right here. Let's get a little bit closer because I'm not doing justice to some of the details of this case. The watch is handsomely made with a strap to match. It is medium rectangular scale alligator leather, and as you can see, uses a folded edge, a monotone stitch. It is a natural calfskin on its underside, and because we are reviewing this watch a second time, I should emphasize the reason for that is this new deployant clasp, which features an upgrade over the original, which was a simple friction fit device. This offers both more security and a more appealing design, as the skeletonized, almost filigree wire-like Breguet logo is ethereal, graceful, all of high polish, and handsomely executed, especially the interior curves and angles. Externally, you can see that the clasp itself is both satin finished and polished with a nice bevel on the edge of the buckle. Internally, it's a double fold number. The original clasp was a single fold, so this one works a little bit better on a small wrist, and I'm happy to say Breguet doing things the right way, giving you a full platinum PT950 clasp with that trigger release system on a platinum watch. The case is glorious. Simple but strong, it's distinctive of modern Breguet watchmaking, with the coined case flank, which is cold rolled and then hand finished, and then you can see that the lugs themselves are welded on with the evidence of the weld removed to create a nice clean break between case band and polished platinum lug. The straps are held on with bars fixed by screws, far more secure than spring bars, a little bit more expensive to make, but the peace of mind you really deserve with a watch this heavy and this expensive. You will note that the box section crystal has some of the most dramatic camber you will ever find, and that is due to the height of the movement over the dial. Caliber 569 is a high caliber with a solid gold, silver galvanized, true rose lathe cut guilloche dial. So you have fired steel hands in Breguet fashion, and then you have this Breguet style dial with the stylized Roman numerals and the individual numbering, and it is solid gold cut on a rose lathe. You'll also note that underneath there is a barrel with a power reserve indicator. So as I wind the watch, the power reserve indicator traces that scale up to 50 hours. That's the manual wind power reserve of this watch. And as I wind the watch, you will note right below the half bridge, under my finger, the chain from the barrel is being wrapped around the fusee, which is a cone, an ascending cone of ever smaller circumference. So just like a bicycle gear system, as the barrel discharges, it pulls the larger circumference of the fusee down, 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 increasing its relative leverage to send an equal amount of force, regardless of wind, to the escapement in the balance and the tourbillon assembly. So the balance will always be indexed with the same amount of force while the watch is running. There's a stop work system that will stop the watch when it no longer is able to supply constant force. If you move over to the balance and the tourbillon carriage, you can see the escapement is exceptional. First, for its depth. The carriage is huge, and so is the balance, but also because this free-sprung architecture, which is adjusted in 6 positions and fairly shock resistant for what it is. So 6-position adjustment, free-sprung architecture to hold that adjustment, and then you can see at what is clearly an overcoil, but you'll also note the slightly iridescent reflection of silicon. How can we have an overcoil assembly that is a Breguet overcoil in silicon, which is generally crafted and etched in flat format? Well, it is a 2-part system, and you can just barely see it under my finger, but there is a joint between the 2 halves of the hairspring in silicon where one ultimately attaches to the flat base and arcs up and over. So it is a 2-part overcoil silicon hairspring, anti-magnetic, thermally resistant, and yes, it gives you concentric beating like an overcoil hairspring. Now, the watch beats away at 18,000 vibrations per hour or 2.5 hertz, and it is a stately and handsome march. It's also quite loud. I'll hold it up to the mic so you can hear it. I hope you were able to hear its distinctive song, because it's not irritating. It's not something you're going to hear and mind in any particular fashion, but it's something that's fun. As in a very quiet room, you might be able to hear it at an arm's length. Just another sign that your watch is alive. Everything is immaculately finished. There's a frosted pocket watch inspired finish across most of the bridges and plates, but you'll also note that, especially at this angle, there is mirrored anglage on the edge of every surface. So while the watch does have the look of a Breguet era late 18th century, early 19th century pocket watch, the finishing standards of our era. So you can see black polished screw heads. You can see that to good advantage from this angle. You can see that mirrored anglage on the edge of every half bridge. The architecture is designed to evoke Breguet's own watches, which is why you have these pocket watch inspired spokes inside the wheels, and you have freehand engraving of the Breguet logo in the frosted bridges, and then you have these half bridges that are pocket watch style. You'll also note it says that essentially this is the patent on the day of June 23rd of 1801, the day that Breguet patented the original tourbillon. So that's what you were looking at right there. That's what that text means. A beautifully executed watch that is exceptionally rare and, yes, exclusive by virtue of its price, its complexity, and the fact that only a few connoisseurs would even know to ask for a piece such as this. It is a massive capability and complication in a very wearable 41mm platinum case. You could see it and you can make it yours on the watch box.